You're watching The Experience, Comic Culture and Sales, streaming live daily to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter.
There is a neat point in your life when you learn a new imitation. And for me, it was the other day when I discovered I could do Arlo Guthrie voice. Now, Arlo Guthrie, for those of you who don't know, is the singer of the song Alice's Restaurant. Now, most of you may have heard it when it's played on Thanksgiving Day on your local rock station. It is something that most of them do. It's a tradition, you might call it. And the reason they do it is not so much because everybody wants to hear Alice's Restaurant on Thanksgiving Day. It's because the song is almost 25 minutes long, and it allows the DJ to get up and make himself a sandwich or something while it plays. So it's a little Thanksgiving to themselves, and we get to hear Arlo Guthrie talk about a VW microbus, a pile of trash, joining the army, and 27 8x10 color glossy pictures. It is a very fun song, and if you haven't listened to it, you should. But the problem is that I discovered this voice the other night, and now I've had nothing but a problem getting rid of it. So I'm going to try to get rid of it, and then we'll talk about She-Hulk. So stay tuned for the Dan Wickline Show. Well, the good news is I got rid of that voice. The bad news is we're going to be doing Ronald Reagan all night. No, I'm just kidding. Hey, everybody, welcome to the Dan Wickline Show here on The Experience. It's about a 50-50 chance that they're actually going to do that. You're halfway to Foghorn Leghorn, Daniel Craig. I would love to be able to do the Daniel Craig voice. The funny thing is that it is not Foghorn Leghorn, the voice that he does. It is, and I need to, now that it's come up, voice Knives Out. There is a Southern actor, a historian, and I'm trying to remember the guy's name. I'm looking it up real quick, but he does stuff like Civil War documentaries and stuff like that, and that's the voice he went for. And I'll say, I thought he was doing Foghorn Leghorn, but he's not. He's doing this Southern historian, and you go out to YouTube and you find that I'm having a hard time locating the actual name of the guy. Yeah, Shelby Foote. Thank you, Shelby Foote. So Shelby Foote, you go out and listen to the guy on YouTube, and you realize Daniel Craig has got it perfect. Just absolutely nails it. And it is such a cool imitation. So I could have a lot of fun learning to do that voice, but I'd have to get a lot of Shelby Foote videos and listen to, and Knives Out, of course. But I am eagerly looking forward to Glass Onion, the sequel to Knives Out. Though it does drive me nuts that they refer to it as Glass Onion, a Knives Out movie or sequel, and not Glass Onion, a Benoit Blanc movie, which is how it should have been. JD says, I feel like English people have an unfair advantage with accents because they have so many. Oh, yeah. I mean, just England alone. Well, we have a lot of different ones, too. I mean, we have, if you listen closely, you can pretty much pick up where somebody's from by how they speak. I get a lot of mistaken for where I come from because There are certain words I say because of my father. So I get pegged for being either Midwestern or from Illinois, where my dad is from, because I say things like "warsh." Somewhere along the lines, I picked up an extra R in the word "warsh." Washington, you know. Ours is spread out further because we have more country. But yeah, you're right. They do put a lot of them close, and theirs seems to be, I want to say, more divergent. But then you look at like California versus Southern, and it's the equivalent of posh versus Cockney, I think. You have your very upper right crest, British person speaking like this, and then you're Cockney dropping about 7 jobs. So, and then you get the Scots, and nobody can understand them. So, by the way, Scottish, so I can say crap about it. I used to think I was Irish. I did. My whole life I was told I was Irish because my grandmother was born in County Cork, Ireland. And what do you mean I'm cheap? And then one day I'm sitting around with her. She's 90 years old. And I said, well, you being Irish and all. And she's like, I'm not Irish. Like, what? She goes, I'm not Irish. I'm English. I went, what? You were born in Ireland. Yeah, we were just passing through. We lived there for like a year and a half. Like, okay. Turns out that even if you're born in Ireland, you may not want to be Irish. So that changed my life a bit. Okay, we were talking about stuff. I don't think family lineage is the topic of the day. Got some news from Warner Brothers. You know what? I am trying so hard to figure out what the hell Warner Brothers is doing. And I figure they don't know what they're doing anymore. Because they come in and it's canceled Wonder Twins, pull the plug on this. No, we're not going to run Batman the Caped Crusader on HBO Max. And you're like, oh my God, they're going to get rid of everything. What's going on? And then we got, a bunch of shows that are, is Pennyworth even going to come out? What are they doing with this and that and the other thing? And then we get the word today that something we thought for sure was going to get killed got renewed. The Harley Quinn animated series, which is on HBO Max. So they get rid of a Bruce Timm led Batman series for HBO Max, but keep Harley Quinn. And I don't get it. And the only thing I can think of is they think Batman is popular enough that they could sell it to another network and make some of their money back. So, I mean, that's kind of how you have to start thinking about what Warner Brothers is doing, is about money. Everything is about money at this point, because there is no other way to explain why they would keep Harley Quinn, which is a fun series, but they would then not run Batman Caped Crusader, because Bruce Timm is kind of the end-all and be-all of DC animation, and he comes back and he's doing kind of a spiritual follow-up to Batman the Animated Series with Batman Caped Crusader. You've got Matt Reeves, who is now a studio darling, and they've signed this huge multi-year deal for both movie and television. You've got J.J. Abrams attached to it, and it could be they just don't want anything to do with J.J. Abrams. I don't know. And you've got, there was one other producer on there that I can't think of, but it was kind of surprising. But you've got all these people involved, and Warner Bros. Is like, no, let's shop that one around. So it's got to be about money. It's the only thing I can think of. And it's got to be what David Zaslav cares about, is he's coming in with the big axe, chopping things, trying to get the budget down as low as possible, make as much savings as possible, and then move forward that way. I don't know. It doesn't seem right, I mean, like I said, I like the Harley Quinn series. Kaylee Cuoco is great. Blake Bell, excuse me. Ron Funches, Alan Tudyk. You got a great cast. And then you got, but a fourth season of that. Are we going to get more Titans? Are we going to get more Doom Patrol? Ooh. But don't you have to pay? JD says that maybe the big names attached to the Batman thing is why the money, why the problem. And it might be. But you've got Kaylee Cuoco and Alan Tudyk. And Alan Tudyk has got to get some money. He's everywhere now. So, I don't know. I do think that Batman is a more marketable project. So, there's a bit. I'm hearing Disney is interested in picking up the Batman animated series. How weird would that be to have Batman on Disney Plus? I think that breaks like the space-time continuum, doesn't it? So, yeah, that just disturbs me. Oh man. In casting news, well, we got two bits of casting news. Yesterday, we found out that Megan Thee Stallion. I'm not up on her music, but Megan Thee Stallion, who has done some acting, is joining the cast of She-Hulk. She's going to be playing herself, so that means she exists in the DC universe. But she's going to be playing herself and is going to be involved in a case that Pug, which is the guy, if you've seen the second episode, he walks in carrying the gift basket or the welcome basket, played by Josh Segura from Arrow. He's got a case that involves her. So she's going to be in maybe a couple episodes. But so that's casting. Then we also hear that Ironheart has added another actress. This is Reagan Alaya, who was in EXO and Kitty, and she's also joining the series. And again, undisclosed role, but she of course joins Dominic Thorne as Riri Williams, who will meet in November in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. So it's another bit of casting news. Let's see. JD says, when do you think we'll get Batman in the MCU? Hopefully never. I like my DC and Marvel to be separate. I don't want them together. I don't want Batman and Daredevil to team up. I know that sounds cool, but it sounds cool. There is a saturation point where you've got too many characters and stuff, and you end up just not enough time to really do things with characters because you're bringing in so many. We're kind of that way with Marvel right now, is you look at the upcoming slate and you have all these new characters coming out and you stop and think, well, when are we going to do something with this character? When are we going to do more with Hawkeye or, the new Hawkeye or more Moon Knight, or you get these new characters coming out. When Marvel started, it was great. We had Iron Man, Hulk, Thor, and Captain America. They all had movies. And then we went to the Avengers, and we got two more. Well, they got them Hawkeye earlier, but we got Hawkeye and Black Widow, and that was what we had for a while. And then they just started adding and adding and adding and adding and adding and adding and adding. And now we got, it's hard to find time for some of the characters. Some of these characters they've introduced in the Phase 4, or Falcon becomes Captain America. We're not going to see that until Phase 5. That's going to be a while. But where does Winter Soldier pop up again? There's storylines out there we haven't concluded. So no, I don't want to see Batman enjoying the MCU. Edward says, I knew it was only a matter of time before Disney started making a play for DC action. I hope not. I really don't want to see them joined. There's so many. I want these cohesive universes out there, but I want multiple ones. I want to be able to go hang out in the DC universe for a while, and then I want to leave that and go hang out in the Marvel universe. I want Valiant. I want Valiant's universe to take off. We had one movie which was okay. Actually, I think it would have been better had it not been Vin Diesel as Bloodshot. I think he kind of took away from the movie because he's so Vin Diesel. I think they could have cast somebody else, somebody who would have gotten into the character a little more, and we would have had a great Bloodshot movie. But I want Ninjak and Eternal Warrior and stuff like that. So yeah, no, I don't want one Grandmaster, because that also means that there is a limited amount of stuff they can put out a year. But I mean, when we have Peacemaker and all these other shows going at the same time, when we can turn on Doom Patrol and shut it off and go watch She-Hulk or Titans, and I mean, that's the great thing, is when you have all this diversity out there. When I'm sitting here trying to figure out times to put things on the air because we're covering so much, that's a great thing. If I ever have to start thinking about doing a show on Monday or Friday because I've got too many great comic book related shows to cover, that would not be a bad thing. All right, Edward, an off the wall question. Have you watched Stallone's superhero movie on Amazon Prime, Samaritan? If so, are you going to do a show on it? I will watch it. I have not yet. I might do one next week because I should have an opening. I know we're going to talk about She-Hulk again. We're going to talk about the Rings of Power, but Samaritan would be good for a show. I'm hearing some interesting things about it, though. The most interesting response I've heard about it is that it's kind of two movies in one. So that it's not really one really good movie, but it's two decent movies kind of pushed together. So I don't know exactly how that works, but it is one I want to see. I like Stallone, and I like the concept. So, Edwards, okay, so you liked it. Thought it was fun. All right, I will. Yeah, let's book that. I will watch it over this weekend, and we can talk about it next week. Probably Thursday of next week. We'll do JD, let's book that. Thursday of next week, we'll do Samaritan. Okay. All right. We're coming up to our first commercial break. We'll do that. We'll come back and we will talk about She-Hulk, Superhuman Law. So we'll be right back.
Join the party. Head over to our link tree to find all the links for everywhere the experience is all the time.
Comic Collectibles is here for you every Wednesday with AR Comics for two very important reasons: to sell you rare, one-of-a-kind comics that you'll love, and to confuse AR with old man talk. You see, Rex and John are, how should I put this, ancient as the roots of the mountains. So every week, Rex and John fill in AR in yet another area of pop culture that he missed because he's too young, just didn't have the time, or just really doesn't care about. It's a real public service they provide. Come buy some super rare and unique comics, while old men explain long-dead sci-fi shows to a younger man making that confused puppy face. Every Wednesday from 6 to 8 Eastern with Rex, John, and AR Comics. Comic Collectibles on The Experience. Comic culture and sales.
There's a super new way to support your friends over at The Experience. Head over to YouTube and send us a super chat, a super sticker, or a super thanks. We'll be super grateful for your support, and then keep an eye out as we launch membership services over on YouTube. It'll be a great way to get first look access at new content and shows before anybody else. Keep your eyes peeled and make sure you're following us on YouTube.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Dan Wickline Show. Edward, I was just thinking that I will definitely watch Samaritan this weekend, and we will work it in next week. But the only problem with doing it Thursday is that is Disney Plus Day, or that's D23, I think it is, or is that Disney Plus Day? One of the two. Whatever it is, there's going to be some announcements happening that day, so that might take up some of the show, but we'll definitely talk about Samaritan next week. So, all right, let's get into She-Hulk. Coming off of, I'm assuming you guys have seen it. We're well over a week away. Do we need to put the spoiler banner up? What do you guys think? Spoilers? Just in case. JD? All right. This episode really was short, and I'm not usually one that complains about the length of Marvel TV shows. I mean, we knew this was going to be shorter than the normal ones because it's done in a half-hour format. But the thing is that it came in at about 28 minutes. You figure it's about 6 or 7 minutes worth of credits. So now you're looking at about 22 minutes of actual runtime. And when you compare that to a sitcom, that's normal. 22 minutes is the length of actual sitcom material. The difference, though, is that when you're watching a sitcom, you get commercials. And where most of us are annoyed by commercials, what commercials do is it stops you long enough from the story that you think about it. You let it live in your head for that 2-3 minute break. And it kind of gives you this longer feeling. So 22 minutes of a show feels longer when you take a couple quick breaks. Edward says, felt very quick and lacking. Nothing really happened. And then when it started to happen, it was over. I was like, what? Yeah, I can understand that. But I guess for me, it didn't feel like nothing happened because we were tapping back into the Incredible Hulk movie. And I look at it this way, and it makes me think of the news we got yesterday. And I don't know if I mentioned it, but the word is that Ben Kingsley. Oh, by the way, guys, click on the mail. We got membership services coming up. We got some really cool membership stuff happening, but you want to be on our mailing list for this. The QR code will take you there. The graphic won't, where it says bit.ly/EXP mail. There is an underscore between EXP and mail. So either scan the QR code, or if you're going to use the bit.ly link, add an underscore between EXP and mail. But you'll definitely want to be on our mailing list, not just for the things that we are going to be doing, but we've got some big things coming up. So, yep, there it is. bit.ly/exp_mail. So, all right. So yesterday, Ben Kingsley was announced that he will be returning as Trevor Slattery in the upcoming Wonder Man series. Now, that's awesome. Well, what that does tell me, though, is that Iron Man 3 came out, and they got Ben Kingsley to play a fake version of the Mandarin, and everybody went insane. But what you never heard was Kevin Feige come out and say, oh, yeah, that turned out not to be a good idea. He doubled down. And he doubled down first by putting out All Hail the King, the short with Trevor being interviewed that ends up being kidnapped by the Ten Rings. It also got Justin Hammer in it. Great. Great scene, or great little thing. So now you're like, oh, wow, so there really is a Mandarin. He's not the real Mandarin. Okay, we get it. Well, then, of course, we got Shang-Chi, which has the real Mandarin, who's actually Wen Wu, who doesn't even like the name Mandarin because that's a Chinese side dish or dish. And so everybody loved Ben Kingsley in Shang-Chi and his friend Morris. And just, this was Kevin Feige really doubling down. Well, now he's coming back in Wonder Man, which makes perfect sense because Wonder Man is about an actor. Trevor Slattery is an actor. Great. Great hookup. But that's Kevin Feige going, you don't like this character? We'll see about that. You sure you don't like this character? Are you really sure? Oh, now you're happy about the character. And he's done that in a few things. A lot of Thor the Dark World stuff has been coming back. And they're kind of going, you sure you don't like Thor the Dark World? Because there's this scene and there's this scene, and we tie it into Avengers Endgame, and and suddenly Thor the Dark World gets this little kind of redemption thing. But it's not them going, oh yeah, Thor the Dark World sucked. So it's them going, you sure you didn't like it? Are you sure? And now they're doing that with the Hulk. First, they brought back Thunderbolt Ross with William Hurt, who has now sadly passed away. Now we're getting Tim Roth back as the Abomination. We got the little teaser of him in Shang-Chi, and now all of that's starting to pay off. And Tim Roth, who is just a fantastic actor, especially with his comedic timing, gets to be a little more comedic here, So we got all of the Abomination stuff, but again, it's tying back into the Hulk movie. And then there is that moment. And Marvel's done this once before. For me, the classic take where you have an actor replacing another actor. The show Fresh Prince of Bel-Air had this great way of dealing with the actresses playing the mom, how they had to switch them for a while. And they had, the only one that noticed was Jazzy Jeff, DJ Jazzy Jeff. And he spent an entire episode looking at the mom going, you sure something? Did you change your hair? You look different. Something's different about you. It's because the actress had changed. And that's what, and they did something like that in Iron Man 2 when they swapped from Terrence Howard to Don Cheadle. Don Cheadle walks in, looks at Tony, goes, yeah, it's me. I'm here. Get over it. And that was basically Marvel going, yeah, that's it. So, well, they did it again. They had that great moment where Jen calls him about taking the case, and not to derail you, but I finally picked up on the Perfect Strangers thing said last week about watching the episode. About Cousin Larry? Yeah. So, yeah, cousin Balky's got to be the Hulk. It's the only way it works. Or Balky's the Hulk's dad. That would be hilarious if Bronson Pinchot came in to play Mark Ruffalo's father. Back to the thing. So there's that moment when they're talking about it, and Ruffalo's great in that scene where he's talking about, yeah, he sent me this really heartfelt letter and this rather nice haiku. He goes, yeah, and he says, look, that was so long ago. I'm a different person now, literally. And Jen, and because this is this show, Jen can turn to the camera and go, ha ha, and kind of punch home that they're doing that they're acknowledging the actor change. So, yeah, Ed says, when Bruce said, that was a long time ago, I'm a different person now, that was brilliant. And it was Ed Norton's Hulk that fought up. Yeah, exactly. I think that's something that Marvel gets to do. But because of the lightheartedness of this show, they could do it with the punchline thing. And that's what I liked. I think if it would have been in a serious series, it would have been, yeah, it's fine. That was a long time ago. I'm a totally different person now. But being able to say literally, and then the ha-ha joke, that's because it's She-Hulk. JD says, I love that they acknowledged it. I think that's all we as the audience really want when they change actors. Exactly. And those are the big changes they've made, isn't it? I mean, well, there's one coming up because they've changed the actress who plays Ant-Man's daughter. The new movie's going to have a different actress playing Stature, or Stinger, I think she's going to play. I don't remember the character's name, though. Anyway, Cassie Lang. So we're getting a new Cassie Lang, so they'll probably acknowledge that as well. But, yeah, Terrence Howard replaced by Don Cheadle, Mark Ruffalo replacing Edward Norton. I don't think we've had any other cases, though. I mean, we're using the same Abomination. We're using the same Thunderbolt Ross. They've never brought Betty back. And when they did in What If, she looked like Liv Tyler. So I don't know if they would ever bring Liv Tyler back. That would be interesting, to have Liv Tyler play opposite of Mark Ruffalo. Yeah, that would be interesting. I've heard some people talk about how they should do, if they're going to do World War Hulk, they should have like multiple Hulks in it and should get Ed Norton and Eric Bana back. And no one talks about Lou Ferrigno. They should, yeah, if you're going to do that. But no, I don't. I think there's a. I don't think Ed Norton will ever come back to the MCU. I would be really surprised if he did. 2 Quicksilvers, yes. Yes. The one was just a boner. By the way, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but the reason is Hulk's son coming. That's where I was going. I think we're definitely going to get some kind of Hulk movie soon, but it won't be until probably the 6th phase, maybe the 7th. It might be after, but there are 3 open slots for movies between now and the 2 Avenger movies. There's 1 in phase 5 and 2 in phase 6 from the weekends that Marvel has reserved. And I've thought all along that there were going to be Deadpool 3, Shang-Chi 2, and Eternals 2. And I still think those are what they're going to be. But at some point, they're going to do a Hulk movie, because at some point next year, Marvel should have all of the rights to the Hulk back. They won't have to distribute a Hulk movie through Universal anymore, because it'll be 15 years since the last Hulk movie. And I think that's what the contract says. So in 2024 or 2025, they could do a Hulk movie. And with him going back on the spaceship to Sakaar, unless they're going to do it as a TV show, and that seems pretty big to be a TV show. But he's going back. Now, the problem is, though, we've done Planet Hulk, in a sense, in Ragnarok. And World War Hulk, some of the key components aren't there, like the Illuminati being the ones that sent him to Sakaar. That didn't happen. We really don't know how he got there, actually. You know, I think we're supposed to assume that when he left in the Quinjet in Avengers 2, or in Avengers Age of Ultron, he just kept going into space and eventually ended up on Sakaar, which seems really odd. But there's a good chance we're going to find out he's got a son. I think we'll get Scar. And I think there will be a version of World War Hulk, but how they're going to do it, I don't know. Let's see. JD says, there's some room to play in that space. Maybe a standalone Hulk movie would be a flashback like Black Widow. But do they want to retread the whole gladiator thing on Sakaar? Like I said, we kind of took care of that. I would like to see them go back to a Savage Hulk. I think that would be the nice circle to see the guy grabbing the wheel, taking control again. So I definitely think they're setting something up there. They don't just put him in a spaceship and launch him out there without a plan. There's something coming up. There may be a thing between AV2 and Sakaar. It's possible. Ed says, do you think Bruce leaving on the Sakaran spaceship mid-credit scene means he's done with She-Hulk and setting for a movie? Yes, I do. I think that'll be the end of Mark Ruffalo in the series, because I don't think we're going to resolve whatever happens in Sakaar. That's going to be a while. That's going to be a movie or his own TV show or something. So no, I don't think he'll be back. I think he's gone now. And what I hear is there was originally thought to be, they were thinking of doing 12 episodes or maybe 10 episodes, and there was going to be more stuff with Blonsky. But I think we're going to get kind of a 2-phase story. We're going to get the Blonsky story, and then we'll get whatever the Daredevil story is, and that'll be like 2 parts of the season. So the Blonsky story, we've already got 2 episodes. We've probably got 2, maybe 3 episodes more of Blonsky, and then the rest will be Daredevil, whatever that story is. That's how I think. So I think we're going to move on from Mark Ruffalo and the Hulk. I think he was just to help set up the world. And now he's leaving us with Blonsky. Hey, Kenneth. Hey, Jim. Good to see you guys. So, yeah, I think we're done with Mark Ruffalo. I think there will be a Hulk standalone movie, and we may find out more about it at D23, which is possibly why they moved. One of the things they did was the origin of She-Hulk was supposed to take place in episode 8, according to the writer. And then they moved it up and they had to switch things around. Now, possible they wanted the origin up sooner, not just because the audience wanted to see it, would want to see it, but it's possible they also wanted to set up whatever they're doing with the Hulk before D23, so that when they make announcements at D23, Kevin Feige can go, so are you wondering where the Hulk is headed in that spaceship? You'll find out. Boom! And it'll pop up on the screen. I think that's a possibility. Where if he didn't do that, then suddenly a Sakaar spaceship shows up. We're all going to be like, oh, we know what's going to happen there. So I think it's possible that we will find out about the Hulk at D23. I think we're going to get some big announcement at D23. Like, I think they'll confirm Matt Shackman as the director of Fantastic Four. There's a good chance we're going to get casting news on the Fantastic Four. It's kind of all over the place now. I'm hearing Penn Badgley is possibly Reed Richards. I still hear some people saying John Krasinski. Supposedly there was a deleted scene that was going to be in Doctor Strange that would have had a post-credit scene of somebody watching what happened to the Illuminati on a monitor, and then when they pull back, you see a stretching arm and you realize it's Reed Richards in the Baxter building, but it's Reed Richards from another Earth looking at what happened. So maybe they are doing Krasinski. Maybe they're doing this Penn Badgley guy. Could be anything at this point. We'll find out. Ed says, I know I'm going to feel stupid for asking, but what is D23? Never feel stupid for asking questions, Ed. I forget. D23 is Disney's big event they do every year. This year's D23 is, when is D23? It's September 9th through 11th. So Disney Plus Day is September 8th, and that's when they put a bunch of new stuff on Disney Plus, including Thor Ragnarok. And then the 9th, 10th, and 11th, that's D23. And I don't remember why they call it D23, but it's their big convention. It's their version of Comic-Con in a sense, but it's all Disney. It's their own little show. And last year at D23, they made a bunch of announcements for Marvel and Star Wars, and they're going to do that again. So a lot of the announcements will be made Friday morning, or is it Saturday morning? Let's see. D20. When is Marvel at? Marvel at. Marvel makes epic return to D23 Expo. Hall D23. Okay, Saturday at 10 a.m. That's when Marvel Studios, Lucasfilms, and all these other guys are going to come on, and that's when you're likely to get the big announcements like Fantastic Four. 23 refers to 1923 when Disney was founded. So, yeah, you're going to get Marvel announcements, Star Wars announcements. Last time they had one, that's when they announced Willow and stuff like that. So we'll get the big announcements on Saturday. That's a week from this Saturday. So I will probably I'll be around that weekend. I won't be doing the Dan Wickline Show, but I have a TikTok page now that what I've been doing is when news breaks, I do a quick 1 minute TikTok and I post it. So if you're out and about and you want to know what the breaking news is from D23, you don't have a chance to sit down and watch it, I will be doing the announcements that day. I will be posting them to TikTok. They'll go up also on my Facebook and Instagram. And if you need to find me on any of those things, it's just my name. Just look up Dan Wickline. Though I think on Instagram it's actually DanWick70, but I had that a long time. So, but D23 is going to be the big thing. So, all right, let's take a quick break. We'll get our other commercials in and come back and talk some more about She-Hulk and some of the things that happen. So we'll be right back.
Thanks for tuning into The Experience. Help us out and hit subscribe over on YouTube and click the bell when you do. Need some help? Scan the QR code in the bottom corner.
To be continued. 3 little words that hold the secret to the next great story. 3 words that will thrill you, confound you, give life to new possibilities. Every variation of To Be Continued is a promise of adventure, a promise of excitement, a promise of unseen wonders and unexplored worlds. A promise that every issue you read makes you a part of a never-ending journey, and behind every page there will be an unopened door waiting for you. This story to be continued at your local comic book shop today. Visit comicshoplocator.com today.
Who would win, Batman or Superman? It's the age-old debate, except it's so much more complicated than that. Nerd Killer Warfare every week on The Experience is your chance to debate other nerds in the questions we've all been asking for years, except we take those debates and turn them up to 11. Go to bit.ly/EXP casting or scan the QR code to be part of the show.
Hi, this is Trish Forcer.
And I'm Tony Fleece. We make the Image comic book Stray Dogs. You're watching The Experience.
All right, we are talking about the She-Hulk episode 2 with episode 3 dropping midnight tonight, LA time, 3 a.m. if you're on the East Coast. But guys, before I get back into that, and JD's going to have to jump in on this, tomorrow we're having a special stream live with Miss Jen and Kyle to announce the big thing with member services. So you're going to want to watch that. And it says it's at 1 p.m. Now, is that 1 p.m. Pacific, JD, or 1 p.m. Eastern?
Oh, yeah, that's 1 p.m. Pacific. It's right before your show.
Okay, so right before,
so before 4 p.m. Eastern.
So you'll want to tune in an extra hour early tomorrow to find out what we're doing with member services. Or if you miss it, I'm sure we're going to talk about it. But
yeah, it's a lot of really cool stuff we have set up for the next couple of months that you can be a part of just for, we're saying, less than the price of a comic book.
There you go.
All right.
So you definitely want to tune in for that. Okay, the big things that happened in the She-Hulk episode, of course, was we meet her family. We meet Ched. It said Ched. Shouldn't that be Chet? Who the hell names their kid Ched? But Ched, who works at Best Buy and just got promoted, his parents, whose mom is a stylist, probably a stepmom, the way that vibe. There's Jen's parents. The father, of course, is played by Cousin Larry. And then there's another woman at the table that doesn't really talk or anything, but that could be Bruce's mom, which I thought was kind of interesting, because you would think she would say, Jen, how's Bruce? You know, but who knows? So there's the family stuff. We see she gets hired at GLK and H. And again, GLK is Goodman, Lieber, and Kurtzberg for Martin Goodman, Stanley Lieber, and Jack Kurtzberg or Jack Kirby, and Holloway, who is actually the character we get to meet. Bad news, guys. Martin, Stan, and Jack will not be in the series. So just so you know. And he, of course, hires her after she gets fired by the DA's office because every case she tries would be suspect because of, are they, voting in favor of her or against her because she's the She-Hulk. So she gets fired. She can't find any work. Finally, Holloway hires her. She gets her friend Ginger a job there too. Or I think Ginger's the actress. But Nikki Ramos, Ginger Gonzaga. And of course, we get to meet Augustus Pugliese, who is played by Josh Segura from Arrow. So we get the office set up. We find out that she has to, they're hiring her to be She-Hulk. They're not hiring her to be Jennifer Walters. And that the first case they want her to take is Emil Blonsky, played by Tim Roth, who is also the Abomination. And of course, there's all references to the fact that Blonsky tried to kill Bruce. But they take a moment and they frame the whole Hulk episode from a different point of view, from Blonsky's point of view. And it's basically, well, here is a special forces guy, born in Russia, raised in England, becomes British Special Forces, is on loan to the United States government, is assigned to track down somebody, isn't told that it's the Hulk, and then when it turns out to be the Hulk, is offered a serum to help him, and everything that happens after that, he can blame on the effects of the serum. He can say, oh, it made me aggressive, it made me do this, it made me, I was out of my mind and I ended up taking the blood from Bruce Banner. All of that stuff, he can then equate to that. So there's a good chance he's going to get away with it. And would if the footage from Shang-Chi didn't leak. Now, I know a lot of people are like, oh, did that just happen? Well, maybe. Or maybe it's months old. Maybe the word that Emil Blonsky was going to try to get paroled, and somebody went, I have footage of that guy at a fight. And then they released it. So it could be months old. It could be brand new. We don't know. It's hard to tell sometimes how these shows fit together exactly. So, but the fact that Bruce had the bad arm and was human form at the end of Shang-Chi makes me think that this is at least a little while before the start of She-Hulk. So I think that that tape that came out is going to be at least a couple weeks, maybe months old. Now, how will they resolve that? Well, I think that's how we get Wong into the series. And from what I've seen, they're going to resolve it pretty quickly, or at least it's going to come up. IGN has a clip, and I haven't had a chance to watch the whole clip. I didn't know about it until the last commercial break, and I tried to watch it, but I only got a little bit into it. But it's Jen confronting Emil at his cell about the prison break, getting out of prison to do the Fight Club thing. So, and at one point she's like, well, who made you leave prison to go do this? And it sounds like he was about to name Wong. So however it works, I think we're going to end up with his explanation for the Fight Club thing. Whether it's the truth or not, we'll have to see. But B, there's a good chance that if we don't get Wong this episode, we're going to get him next episode. So he's going to be around soon. Ed asks, do you think they'll introduce the leader? They hinted towards the leader in Ed Norton's Hulk movie. That is one of the $1 million questions left over from the Hulk movie. Tim Blake Nelson played Samuel Stearns, or Mr. Blue, as he went by. And he gets infected, and we see his head start to change. And there is a comic prequel to the Hulk movie that involves Black Widow actually taking Stearns into custody for S.H.I.E.L.D. So and those comics are supposed to be canon when they come out. So, and the idea was that the Hulk was going to be a trilogy, just like all the other ones. And the leader would have been the villain in the second one. Will we get the leader? God, I hope so. I would love it. He's a villain I've been wanting to see, especially since... do I remember what the comic was called? I don't. Incredible Hulk tie-in comic. I don't remember. I know there was one, and it might have been part of Fury's Big Week. Because I don't know if it was direct, or it could have been Marvel's The Avengers Black Widow Strikes. I'll have to do a little more research for you on that, Ed, but I know it's out there. So I will see what I can find. But yeah, I would love to see the leader. I'd love to see Tim Blake Nelson come back as the leader, because I think he was inspired casting. And from having looked at his IMDb page about a week or two back, because I had the same thought, he doesn't seem to currently be on any projects. It seems to be that showing up for an episode or two of She-Hulk is possible. So could he pop up here? Yes. Will he? I don't know. If they do a She-Hulk season 2, I would think definitely. I think he's too good of a character, and he's set up out there, and Marvel doesn't just do things willy-nilly. So I think they bring around the leader again. It's kind of like Red Skull having disappeared into space in the end of Captain America: The First Avenger, and suddenly ending up on Volmir. There is somebody at Marvel, probably Kevin Feige, who is keeping track of all of these characters. And to know you've got the leader out there and you've got a new She-Hulk series, yeah, I think we're likely to get the leader. I just don't know if it'll be this season. So, but I can hope. I'm with you thinking we're going to get it, and my fingers are crossed. So, all right. So tonight we should find out at least how they're going to address the Shang-Chi stuff. So we finally get answers to that. And wait, JD says, actually, I think Marvel just hired a master timekeeper. They did. So that's a new thing they just hired. So yeah, so maybe Kevin gets, they hired Miss Minutes, by the way. That's who they hired to be the master timekeeper. Okay. It just kind of makes sense, doesn't it? All right. So yeah, that's going to be it for today. Remember to tune in tomorrow at an hour before the show to find out what we're doing with member services. I'll be back tomorrow. I don't know what I'm going to talk about tomorrow yet. Yeah, I'm going to have to come up with something. So we will see what inspires me. And then, of course, next week we'll talk about She-Hulk. We'll talk about Rings of Power, which comes out on Friday. And we'll talk about Samaritan and whatever comes out on if anything drops on Disney Plus Day. And then we'll be talking about D23 announcements after that. That'll be big. So, but stick around. Comics Collectibles is up next. They have some great books lined up, so you want to check it out. Ed says, if you have any leftover time tomorrow, do you think we could talk about The Sandman only as a TV show without the comics? I'd love that. All right. Let me think about that. See what I've got. All right. That's it, guys. Have a great day. See you tomorrow. Take care.
Get the inside scoop on everything happening at the experience every week. Join our mailing list by scanning the QR code at the bottom of the screen and then watching your email inbox.